imagination, bringing dead things to life.
Hey, she emerges from her cave.
Ella.
When do you think you'll finish this film of yours?
I don't know.
What's all that stuff?
So we got stop motion, and here is the lowdown. A talented stop motion animator becomes consumed by the grotesque world of her horrifying creations with deadly results. So let's talk about this. So stop motion was filmed in 2023, but it is a 2024 Shudder production, and it stars Esling Francosi, Stella Gonnet, Tom York, Therieka Wilson Reed, James Swanton, Joshua J. Parker, and Jazz Hutchins. So I wanted to check out this movie on Shudder because I like to look at new horror films that like to try something different, and different is what this movie was. In the beginning, it shows the main character, Ella, and her mother working on their production, their stop motion production, where Ella is adjusting the models for her mother because her mother has bad arthritis in her hands and she's kind of demanding of her daughter. But as the movie goes on, the mother gets sick and I think she has a stroke. Before her mother has a stroke, they kind of have a little bit of conflict. You can see, Ella wants to suggest some things about the models to her mother, and her mother's not having it. She's like, "This is my production," and she basically tells her that she wants to finish this production before she dies. Her mother's apparently a legend in the stop motion animation field. So after her mom is in the hospital, Ella decides to get her own place, get her little apartment to, take her mother's stuff and start, doing the production again without her mother. So during this move, she meets this little girl, and the little girl is curious to see what Ella's doing. So Ella basically shows her, what she's doing in her little studio apartment. And the girl tells her that, this is cool and all, but the stuff you're doing is boring. So Ella decides to get a recommendation from the little girl. And the little girl says, "Hey, use this raw meat to make it as flesh for your little stop motion models." So reluctantly, she decides to use that raw meat, which I think is crazy, but anyway. She starts to create these creepy looking models, these stop motion models. And the raw meat is diced up and, put together to make it look like skin. So these models looking crazy looking. So as we progress on through the film, Ella is, I guess she's kind of creeped out a little bit, She starts having hallucinations, and this little girl is very mysterious, It never says, where she comes from or, is it the neighbor or what, but the girl's just mysterious. And she later begins to work on the motion film again, But the girl comes back the next day and sees her work, and she says, "No, this isn't right. So let's try something else. Let's go outside and look at this dead carcass. We should use this dead carcass as a skin for this new character they're making called the Ash Man. So the Ash Man needs to be made up of dead flesh, and it just gets worse from here. So she decides to decline the little girl's suggestion about using a dead animal carcass, and the girl says, "Fine, you do the story yourself," and she just runs away. So Ella gets kind of mad and is like, "Man, I can't finish the story. I need some kind of motivation." So she gets with her boyfriend's sister, and I guess her boyfriend's sister kind of throws this party. So she gets some kind of drugs from her boyfriend's sister, and she thinks that this will help her, help her creative juices flow. And once it's happened, the whole movie just goes crazy. It goes, man, just stuff escalates, put it that way. Sometimes when I was watching this, I was like, man, do I need an edible to follow this story? Because after this happens, the story to me, it just gets convoluted and just goes crazy into left field, And remember, I said first the little girl suggests raw meat from the refrigerator. Then she said, "Oh, we need dead carcass this time." Next time, she suggests doing something else, and that something else is a lot worse. And once that happens, later on in the film, the movie just goes crazy. It goes beyond left field, and it just makes you wonder, like, man, what did I just watch? I do give this film some props for being creative and bringing something new, to the table versus what we've seen. Like nowadays, all these movies are, remakes and sequels, So I got to applaud Shudder for, creating something new. But this movie is okay. It's not going to be for everybody. Towards the end, it does get convoluted because she's having these hallucinations. You don't know what's real. What's up with the little girl. You just have to watch and find out. And get your own opinion. I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but I do suggest you watch this movie. Like I said, it's not gonna be for everybody. If I was to rate this movie, I would say this is a good 2.7 out of 5, for originality and some good creepy scenes. But other than that, that's what I got for y'all. I appreciate y'all checking this out.